Good afternoon. It's a bright but very breezy day here in York. Not too cold, it's about 18 degrees Celsius. So we'll have a walk around the garden, see what's growing, what needs doing. Off we go. First of all, we'll look in a shady area under a magnolia tree. Shuttlecock fern, self-seeded, does really well there, comes back every year, dies back in winter, but spring sends up the new fronds and is looking good. It's a nice plant to grow in the shade, takes no looking after. Got a few hostas. They can suffer a bit of damage from slugs and snails, but not too bad at the moment. And another hosta. It's beginning to get some flowers on. They're not really grown for the flowers, more for the colour and shape of the leaves. A few smaller ones back there. This is Japanese anemone. Flowers about September time. Can be a bit invasive, but it's pretty well contained in here, so not too much of a problem. Looking at the other side of the path, got some lupins still flowering, coming to an end now, but they've been very nice. Another nice orange and yellow, or peach and yellow. And a salvia. This is hot lips. Quite easy to propagate. Probably do a video sometime. A bit of salvia propagation, perhaps dianthus. Very easy plants that you buy one and really get as many as you want. Another lupin. This time sort of purple and white. When they're finished flowering, just sort of cut them off there, and you get these. There's one that I cut off, don't know if you can see that, and you get these smaller secondary flowers, nowhere near the height and size of the first ones, but still a bit of colour. I like colour in the garden. Some people like unusual shaped leaves or such like, but I like nice colourful flowers. Pink and white lupin. Iris sibirica, variety Imperial Opal. Again, started with one plant, split it up, sort of when they get into a big clump, you just dig them up, split them, replant. Smaller yellow lupin, or yellowish cream. Here's a rose. I watched a video the other day, and a lovely lady on it, I think her name was Annette, could be wrong, and the channel was Coto Verde. which I thought sounded a bit like an Italian cookery programme, but it was about her garden. She showed us some of her favourite roses, and yeah, fabulous garden. And unlike me, she could name all the roses. You know, such things as Eustacia Vi, Queen of Sweden, Pride and Prejudice. These names really mean anything. I guess if you go to buy plants, you can ask for the name variety so you know what you're getting. But I tend to plant things, stick the labels in a box, stick them in the garage and forget about the names. But I do know this one was from Morrison's originally, and it does very well. There's huge clusters of flowers, and they're very nice. So you're saying, what's it called? Well, it was very descriptive on the label. Morrison's Market Street, Pink Floribunda. Perhaps I should give it a name. More roses, not yet flowering, that one. Lupins. The peonies, the large peonies have suffered a bit because of the rain and wind. And a small shrub rose. This has been in the garden since before we moved here 35 years ago, so I don't know how old it is. Well over 35 years. So really good value for money, aren't they? White campanula. Another rose not yet flowering. This one is actually Tequila Sunrise. I do remember one or two of the names. There's another rose. This one is supposedly has edible petals. Perhaps they all have edible petals. Not something I really want to try. Down here, Dianthus. This is actually called Doris. I remember that because I bought one plant for my wife, and her granny was called Doris. And from it, just take lots of cuttings, or call something else out there, slips. And really from one plant, probably got 10 or a dozen now. You could have any amount. More roses. Not yet in flower, that one. It's just almost in flower. There's a bud. And again some more roses. And here's one that is blooming. Although I don't know the name. Didn't Shakespeare say, what's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet, or something like that. It's a long time since I was at school doing English literature. Spanish poppy. Doesn't last very long, only lasts a day or so, but keeps producing new buds. Strong winds we've had haven't helped. Another small rose. And osteospermum, they love it in a nice sunny spot. Do well here in the light soil. Another volunteer self-seeder, poppy. And more Iris sibirica, self-seeded Antirrhinum. And it's self-seeded because it's a few years since I grew any, but yeah, they've come back on their own, so that's good. And a nice rose there in bloom. And more lupins. Another Iris sibirica. And yet more Dianthus doris. Here's a small rose. Probably would call this a patio rose. It's quite small. Another one here just coming to bloom. On the patio, in pots, got some orange lilies. If I can say it, orange lilies. And Nemesia. This one's white perfume, so there's a case of a name that's descriptive. It's mostly white and it's got strong perfume. It's really nice to have on the patio. This is in a pot. They are perennials, but available at most garden centres, quite inexpensive. And philodendron, pearls of perfume. This was a plant from Farmer Gracie online site that I purchased earlier in the year as a bare root perennial, and it's just in a pot for the time being anyway, doing nicely. And a nice plant again to have on the patio, nice perfume plant. Couple of containers here. This one was just done with some leftover plants that I had after I'd done other things. Pelargonium in the middle, a few wax begonias, and an ivy leaf geranium or pelargonium. Same here really. More plants that I just had left over from other projects. Single pelargonium in the middle and a bit of lobelia around the outside. Well, we'll have another look around the garden when the weather's a bit less windy, hopefully. Thanks for watching.